Yeah, I'm jealous now because he's got a little kitty. The program may
Good
respond in
kitties.
process. Okay, in
This will be
process.
the preview for the
You see my
episode.
little kitty?
This is episode 48 of Indecisive Cinema.
It's
We've started
crazy.
this episode 17 times at this point because we just can't seem to get it together.
17
Technical
times.
difficulties, and there were some kitties involved, which I might share a little snippet of, but we'll see. We'll see what makes the cut. But anyway, today we're talking about a few different movies that both of us have seen. We've got actually four different things. Send Help, which is in theaters right now, Sam Raimi's new movie. Marty Supreme, 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, and No Other Choice, which is kind of our main feature that we kind of prepared a discussion for. I think we're going to talk about all this stuff with spoilers. So if you haven't seen those four movies, go watch them. They're all worth seeing, I think, overall. Um,
Yeah.
and then and then we'll give our picks of the week and got some movie news to talk about on the front end. So should be fun.
Yeah.
So get right
Okay.
into it. How's your week? How you been?
It was good. It's good. Laying low for most of the week, working late night all the way till like 8 o'clock at night every night, and then
Oof.
Saturday was our big. I know. Tell me about it. Saturday was a big day. We went to the Cinemark on Cinemark 18 in Webster, and we went at 11 o'clock, and we left at 10:30. So we just stood in the theater all day. Yeah, that's what we always do once a month. And that's how we catch up. They're renovating it because there was a fire there 2 weeks ago.
So I didn't know that was why.
Opened up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they opened up the two smaller concession stands. So
which I don't hate, honestly.
No. I
choices. Maybe.
Yeah, right. But they should leave those open once they fix the concession, the big one. They should leave those open. I hate.
It's just a staffing. It's a staffing thing. I mean, it's all about the money for sure. Speaking of which, my favorite theater closed down all of a sudden overnight. Alamo Drafthouse closed. The Katy, our only location here in Houston, closed this weekend with no warning. They put a sign on the door. Apparently, it's getting bought by some other theater company. I don't know. Somebody mentioned the name, but I don't.
And is that all draft houses or just that one?
I mean, Sony just bought them, so there's no way that they're just going to put them all. My guess is you're going to have a consolidation of some of the big spenders, like the big theaters that just aren't making enough money. So hopefully they'll open up a different location somewhere in Houston. I can't believe that Houston is, the third or fourth largest city in the country can't support one Alamo Drafthouse when, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas all have two or three. Yeah. I don't know. It's goofy, but rest in peace, Alamo Drafthouse, La Centera.
Yeah.
My $50 every 2 months just wasn't enough to keep it open, unfortunately. So
you were part of their club, right?
I wasn't because I just can't. It doesn't make sense to pay for it.
Because I
go to one movie. It's an hour and 15 minutes for me. So it's just,
that's what Rhonda said. That's why we never did it. Yeah.
I do have the movie club at Cinemark though.
So
the concession discount. Honestly, I do save significant. I certainly make my money back in a single month with and the free ticket and everything. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the AMC Stubs is I like that one more because you can go see four movies. But I would spend so much money on the concessions that I don't know if it would be worth it. But I also hate that theater, so that's why Cinemark's my theater. For better or for worse, it's not the best. They're renovating, though, so hopefully it gets better. But rest in peace to my favorite, though. I'm sad. I'm really sad that Alamo Drafthouse is gone.
Crazy.
I mean, I can't believe that. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. The other thing on my movie news I want to talk about is this stupid Darren Aronofsky AI show. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I heard about it, but I don't know anything about it besides what I heard. But what's going on with the details?
Well, it's a 1776 reenactment of.
That's it. That's right. Yes.
And I mean, the actual visuals look okay, but it's all generated. And they're like, it's not it's not replacing craft. And you're like, oh, you mean all on set production crew? Okay, come on.
Well, how different is that from Avatar?
Well, but but that's at least using live motion capture of people.
Okay, yeah.
This is entirely AI generated. So it's it's just and I don't know, maybe not all the elements are, but from my understanding it's all the performances, even if they're voiced by real people, are generated performances the face wise, which is just absurd to me.
That's crazy.
I was also listening to Send Help. Red Letter Media did a review of it. Shout out to them. They're one of my favorites. And they did a review. I mean, he was talking about how he rented a movie and it was like a foreign film with an English dub, but it was dubbed in English, and then they used AI to replace the face performance, and then essentially had like, and you've probably seen this like on social media, like Instagram will like translate stuff, and then
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
have the mouths move with the language that it's being translated to. I just hate it. I hate the
That's
idea of it.
crazy.
Because
Yeah.
like it's like goes completely like what if you're an actor in that movie and they've just replaced your performance with
That's what I'm
it's just
saying.
so bizarre to me. And it's also just like it's all to avoid having to watch something with subtitles. It's like what a dumb like I don't have any problem with dubs that much. I mean, I don't prefer them, but I don't care if somebody
Yeah.
does.
I
But
mean,
like to
luckily,
AI the voice though is just goofy, man.
yeah, luckily Rhonda's come around to dubbing. So like when we watched Sentimental Value and No Other Choice, she was reading it, she was maintaining. So I mean, but before she would never actually hated watching movies unless they were dubbed,
Hmm.
and it's like JC. JC loves to hear it in the original Japanese or
Sure.
Korean, and
It's
but
authentic. It's what it was.
I'm lazy sometimes. Yeah, 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 I
Yeah,
know.
and like I mean I've seen the Miyazaki ones that they've dubbed that are like really high quality dubs, and
Yeah, high
those tend to be
quality.
pretty good. But yeah, I mean I don't know. I just like I'm watching something that was in a foreign language. I would rather watch it. I mean, maybe I'm a purist or a
No, no, I
hipster
agree. I
dipster
agree. Yeah,
doofus, but
hipster doofus.
I mean again I don't have any fault with people watching it with a dub. I think it's so goofy to like try and replace
Replace.
the
Well, that's
actual
crazy,
performance with AI
right?
mouths. I mean, I just hate that so much. And there's no way it looks. It's got to look uncanny valley
Yeah, right.
enough.
I was going to say, yeah,
Like I feel like I'd be distracted by that the entire film, even
the
if it
whole
was
right, the whole
convincing
movie. You're
sometimes.
like, oh,
Anyway, I just thought just that baffling uses of AI and the way that it's. I mean, I think AI has a place in business applications, regardless of whether or
yeah,
not we'll
yeah,
talk a lot more about that with No Other Choice because it's very much about
yeah.
that. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, I do think like I mean, I think it's all bad. If we could get rid of it, it's probably for the better, or at least regulate it so that it's,
Yes,
used in a way that.
regulation.
But because of
Agreed.
just unfettered capitalism, it's not going to happen. Which No Other Choice is absolutely about.
Is
But ultimately though, for creative sake, it's just like what value does it have if you're just generating the whole thing? Like it's one thing to use it
agreed.
for copywriting and stuff like that, where you're
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, where you couldn't hide, like for me, like as a business, I sometimes use it for like generating copy, but that's for Google. It's not like I don't publish that on Facebook and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Facebook. Yeah,
Like if the end consumer is a real human being, I don't think that I just don't see the value of using AI if it's not
yeah.
something that I don't know. It's being integrated in every workflow, obviously, and I'm sure these are just the scratching the surface of what we're going to see in the
Yeah.
future, but. I just don't like that. I don't like the certain uses and then fully generated commercials. Which my other thing I wanted to talk about was which halftime show did you watch? Um, we'll get to that, but first I wanted to talk about this AI, like I think it's a Svedka commercial, and it's like
Yeah,
it's just it's
that
like
was
nightmare
creepy.
fuel. It's
It
creepy
was
as hell,
creepy.
dude. It
Yeah,
doesn't look good. And it's like, who is this for? I don't understand. Like, and they probably spent so much money
so
on
much
that.
money.
You
Yeah,
could
no doubt.
animate the shit for less money. I don't understand. Like,
Yeah,
you're spending millions of dollars on an ad, and you can't hire an animator for a 30-second graphic.
come on.
Like, it looks like shit, first of all. And you're already spending the money. You might as well make
Yeah,
it look good. You don't even have to
look
hire
good. Yeah,
like it doesn't take that. I mean, in comparison to the ad spend budget, to hire an
yeah,
animator to produce a 15 to 30-second spot, I don't know, man. I just don't understand why you would put that out there and spend millions of dollars. It's horrible.
I, I actually, I mean, you probably saw. I always live tweet the Super Bowl and
Which
just
is
the
hilarious.
commercials. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you're not even
but
really
that,
a sports
I,
person.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
like I recorded the performances and I recorded all the commercials, and that was the one that like when it first came on, I was like, oh, this is the Svetlana, whatever it is. And then the faces when they start looking at the camera and doing those
Yeah, it's
creepy
horrible.
fucking faces, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was
It
like,
looks shittier than
"What
iRobot.
this?"
Like the
It's
like modern
like
like if you
it
watch
was like
iRobot now, it looks worse than that. It's so bad.
right.
Ugh. I don't like what creative director or whoever their marketing person needs to be fired. That's nonsense. I don't know. I mean, I just like there's brands that have utilized it in ways that are not like Coca-Cola has an ad that got a lot of controversy, which I think, it should. I mean, it's just this is the
Yeah,
we're in a transition period where the technology is just changing everything. So you're going to have a big discourse when things like that are used, understandably.
yeah,
But yeah, they used an ad though, and you're like, at least this looks like a real ad. It doesn't look like a fucking creepy robot face.
yeah.
Like it's just like it's more
Creepy
off-putting than it
robot.
is beneficial to the brand. Like I remember it because
It
of like I
was.
have a
It
negative
was.
connotation with the brand. It's like that's not the intended goal. I guess no
I
any press is
agree.
good press. I guess, but
I was gonna
anyway.
say bad friend, any friends, yeah, but yeah,
Well, anyway,
that was a
which
creepy friggin'
which halftime
also the
show did
bowl
you
hair
watch?
ones. Were
I didn't watch all the
oh, you know what
commercials.
halftime job?
I did watch most of the
Oh
game,
no.
but
I unintentionally watched the game. But yeah, no, I watched the regular one, the normal halftime show.
the real one, you mean?
But I watched the real one, yes, and I watched it for the because I was hoping that they dropped that Spider-Man trailer, and they
Mm.
didn't. That pissed me off. But I did see most of the movie trailers, and most of them were good. I mean the kid ones were just basic, but Disclosure Day, I'm
Oh,
really
it's good.
digging. They only added like a couple of yeah, they added a couple of scenes from the one they aired a couple of weeks ago, but
Also,
yeah, I
the
like that.
Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, based on the
Yeah,
book,
yeah, that was
the
a
same name.
long ass
It's
trailer.
it's too
It was
long.
like
I
I
didn't
almost
listen to it, but I saw the
yeah,
visuals
it
of
was
what
like
I
the
was thinking
movie.
there.
The whole movie was in there. I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, there was too much. It was like a '70s trailer. They show you the whole
That's a
thing.
problem with every trailer, though.
Yeah,
Every second trailer these days is just like we got to
yeah,
stuff every
my
story beat into
companion.
the trailer so that people know exactly what to expect. Like I can't go
Which
into
is
a movie and
ridiculous.
not know what I'm gonna see. That would
Oh my
be a
god,
disaster. I don't fucking. This drives me
it
nuts, man.
it's ruined so many movies. Like we talked about Companion of last year. It's that second trailer just told you the big reveal, and I hated that. But what else? There was another one that was decent. Like it just showed enough. Oh my god, I forgot what
I
it
mean, I'm
was.
assuming there was an Oppenheimer or not Oppenheimer, Odyssey one. Was there an Odyssey one?
No, there wasn't. But did you see the Tarantino one, which was
Oh
interesting? That
no,
it's called.
is it the
You
movie
didn't
critic
see it?
or is it? I mean, I didn't watch. I didn't really watch the
Oh,
game.
okay, okay. You didn't read it. So it's and it's not a spoiler because they actually it aired perfectly. Where it was a great tease. Cliff Booth. It's called The Further Adventures of Cliff Booth.
Oh, okay. I've heard of this at least.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and the big reveal was like it didn't show that. Like when you watch the trailer on YouTube, it gives you the name, but when it aired live, it just like opened up like a '70s trailer with the cracks and the
Mm.
pops, and at the end, the big surprise is that it's a Netflix movie. So
Oh,
Tarantino, I guess his last film is going straight to Netflix. So it'll
bad.
probably release in theaters for a couple of days,
I
but
sure hope so. God,
but
that's
it's an
awful.
amazing trailer. I loved what I saw, but I was just like, wow. I was saying, brother, this got to be Tarantino's last movie. And then when I saw the continuing adventures of Cliff Booth or something, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's definitely the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel. So
Do you think that's actually going to be his last movie, though? Come on. Like, that dude's going to keep making movies
I
until
don't know.
this. I mean,
I
what's he going
hope
to do with
not. I
his
mean,
life?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
he's
he's
lied about it
with
before. I
his
don't believe
drink and
him.
smoke weed. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know he said he was only going to do one more movie, but why release it on Netflix? That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's
I mean,
probably not in his control, to be fair. Even a director like him. I mean, Fincher's all his shit's going to Netflix. I mean, Scorsese went to Apple TV. We talked about that. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
unfortunately
Last
just
week,
the
yeah, yeah.
reality of the distribution these days. I mean, it's a big, if he wants to make a movie that's $200 million, Netflix will give him the money. And then
Yeah,
we won't
definitely.
even
Yeah,
see it because it's not going to be in theaters. Um, so yeah,
yeah. Well,
gotta
I
love it.
mean, I mean, we always end up watching them on streaming anyway. Yeah, but
I
but
mean,
yeah, I
I
agree
would
with you. I
prefer to
mean,
see the new Tarantino movie in theaters.
no,
You know,
in theaters, and I like like when he would Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, how he did that 70 millimeter. Well, no, it was Hateful Eight. He did the 70 millimeter
yeah, yeah, yeah.
presentation, and that was really good. But I mean, yeah, I maybe this is just something he was doing on the side and just released it. I don't know,
I don't
but
know. Maybe
yeah,
it's yeah. I guess we'll see when it comes out. I'm sure
yeah,
I'll see the trailer at some point.
yeah,
Even though I would prefer not to be honest. I'm interested enough. I don't care to see the whole movie, which is probably
yeah.
what Anyway, But yeah, anyway, let's get to the movies. Got a lot to talk about.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So I guess let's start with Marty Supreme because
Okay.
that was last year. And then
Yeah,
we'll do 28 years later. So just in
yeah,
release order, if nothing
yeah, yeah,
else.
yeah. That's fine.
Um,
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
so go ahead and intro Marty Supreme and give me your thoughts and go for it. Do a little synopsis.
So I think that this was based. Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying I thought this was based on a true story. I don't know why, but basically, Marty Supreme is the latest movie from Josh Safdie, alone, not with Benny, and Timothy Chalamet plays Marty Supreme, a very cocky young Jew from New York who he's obsessed and lives and breathes table tennis or ping pong, and the film is basically him trying. Well, he does get to the finals. Originally, I forgot where was it played?
I
London,
forget.
right?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
it was
Yeah, I
in
think
London.
London.
And then after he comes in second, his big thing is to get out to Japan and play again. And it's this cool, weird adventure of him trying to get there
Yeah,
and all the misadventures in between. And I actually kind of dug it in the aspect. I know that sounds stupid for me to say, but I know you mentioned in passing the last time. I don't know if it was the last time or the time before that. How it was a good New York film because you know that I love
that's
New
actually
York
one of the
film.
questions I had was, do you consider it to be that? I mean, it's not all
Yes,
set in New York, but
and that's me and Rhonda fought me, but it felt like a New York film. First of all, Timothy Chalamet is amazing as Marty Supreme. His like cockiness, his fast talking, even the scenes when you do get a little taste of New York, it's almost like how Caught Stealing was, where it's fast paced, running through the streets,
sure.
going through here or there. But it was the feeling that I got that made it a New York film for me. It had that vibe, but yes, of course, they're in London. They go to Japan. They're in California at one point. But I dug what Safdie did. It's funny because, oh no, there I am. Yeah. So yeah, so it was like Good Time when he's running through the streets to try to get the money. I got that feeling the minute I saw Marty running through the streets, like when the cop tries
Yeah,
to grab him
that's a
after his
fun
uncle.
sequence.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great scene. I dug. Oh my god, I forget her name. Oh man, don't make me do that.
I think she's Bobby Hill's daughter. I didn't realize that.
Bobby.
The lead actress in Marty Supreme.
No, no, I know. Well, what do you mean, Bobby Hill? Like,
Well, the voice actor. Sorry, that was a joke. But,
oh, okay, that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah. What's her name? Odessa Azion. She
yeah,
played Rachel. I loved her in it. I mean,
she's really good. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
So maybe she'll be the next Honora next year. Winning things. But what I'm going to say what I didn't like, so I'll get that out of the way.
Sure.
I didn't dig Gwyneth Paltrow's return to cinema. It was okay. Like what I defended with Rhonda was that him, like, her being in the film, that he got her and all, was just part of his cockiness that, this young broke Jewish kid, could snag this, ex actress or up and coming again actress. But I think, her husband's role was the more driving force of that thing. I mean, I didn't. I
Yeah,
just thought that Gwyneth Paltrow was kind of, it wasn't necessary per se, but
that's
I
fair.
do dig that, like you got, but other than that, I did. I liked it a lot, and I kind of I was rooting for him. Yes, I know he won. Again, this is spoilers. The movie came out 2 months ago. Yes, I know he won the exhibition game, but I was so upset that he didn't get to be in the actual playoffs, the finals, and all that. So,
I think it's
but I
great.
dug it. I liked it a lot, and yeah, it was really
I
good.
think
And
I
his
think
performance
there's
is
a
amazing.
line
I mean,
from like the guy who ran the London. I think he also ran the tournament that he was trying to get into, and he says something along the
the,
lines of
the
like you
the
only get so
Indian
many
guy, yeah.
chances. Yeah, and he says something to him along the lines
Mhm.
of like you only get so many chances, and that ship has sailed basically is what he says. And I think as much
Yeah,
as
yeah,
in a traditional sports film, I think you'd have that moment, and you still get the
yeah,
scene where he
yeah,
defeats
yeah,
the
yeah.
champion, right?
Defeats, yeah,
But I think not getting what he thinks he deserves is so crucial for the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
narrative. Because I
Yes.
think, in going back to Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, I mean, I understand what you're saying there. Like, I think you could maybe
Yeah.
cut that character, but I do think she kind of contributes to his rise and fall. There's like this cockiness, like
Okay.
you said, where he
Yeah.
bags
Yeah.
this, or like he is steals this woman away from her husband. It's just a horrible,
Her
but
husband is
ultimately,
dicky
um,
asshole.
yeah, and like I think that it certainly contributes to the ego that he has. But then
Yes.
inevitably, though, I think she's there to tell him literally to his face, like you're a child, like you're not an adult. How are you going to pay bills? Like this is just like
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
that's multiple generations older than him, not generations, but you know what I mean, like multiple decades
Oh no.
older than him in the
Yeah.
film
At
at
least.
least, and just telling him to his face, like you don't have your shit figured out as much as you walk the talk and or walk the walk and
Yeah.
or talk
Yeah.
the whatever the phrase is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, talk the talk and I mean
Yes.
you're full of
Yeah.
shit basically
Walk the walk and talk the talk. Yes.
and I
Exactly.
think like this is obviously a really flawed character and that I mean the Safdies
Yeah.
love exploring
Yeah. Of
flawed
course. Yeah.
flawed individuals and I think that's something I
Well,
really admire about
yes.
their work. You have this guy who's just so cocky and it's inevitably his downfall. But I also think I think their true narrative, which I talked about when I briefly reviewed it in my top 10 list, is ultimately it's really just a movie about him rejecting becoming a father, I think,
Interesting. Yeah.
and
That would
I
make
think
sense. Yeah. With the final scene. Yeah.
and I think ultimately the whole film is the pursuit of this thing that people keep telling him is a delusion, and his
Yeah. Yeah.
everyday life, this again, like he's a child. How are you going to pay bills? How are you going to provide for this child that you have that you're
Then you
acting
have
like
it.
is just never going to be that important? And then there's obviously this arc where as much as
Yeah.
I don't know if he quite redeems that personality and just the delusion that he has and how awful he is to certain folks, including his the father of his or the mother of his
Awful.
child. I do
Yeah.
think there's at least, and I think that's my only complaint about it, is I think the ending kind of tidies up a little too neatly. Um,
Yeah.
but ultimately, though, I think that final shot of him just breaking down as he sees the child, I think is
Yeah.
is really really moving, in my opinion.
No. No. I agree. And so kind of, and I also saw it as almost like you just said, kind of ambivalence because, of course, he could be crying because he's realizing he's a father, or he could be crying because he realizes this is it.
But I also think
He's.
the whole film, though, this is a
But
character who's just entirely selfish. And I think that
yes,
moment, which I mean, you've
narcissistic.
heard
Yeah.
this described from, I mean, you're a parent. I mean, I've heard this out of lots of
Yeah.
parents'
Yeah.
mouths where it's like the moment you see that child for the first time, you start thinking of life outside yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's like all of a
Yes.
sudden it's like
Yes. That happened to me.
I
Yeah.
am here to take care of this human being. And I think
Yes.
that's what that moment is this
Yeah.
recognition of like, oh, it's not all about me. And I think that's huge. I think that's moving, and I think that's something that really stuck with me. So, and I also think there's an interesting point which has been
Yeah. Yeah.
discussed already, but that this was supposed to be a vampire movie. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about
I
this?
love that ending. Yes. And I was like, I know it's stupid for me even to check. Like Rondo was like, "Oh, is there a secret ending?" We do that with every film, and I did just to see, and it shows Josh Safdie's original idea that the studio 824 went against. But I love it, and I mean, I watched a YouTube video. Of course, there's no footage unless there is. It'll be on the DVD. But I
My
love
guess
that.
is
I
that
love
got
that.
cut in the scripting phase.
In
It
the
would be my
scripting phase.
assumption,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
love it. I also love it. I
oh
think it's
yeah,
a
yeah. It makes
uh,
sense.
fascinating. It really does. It's a
Yeah,
fascinating idea. I mean, I would love to see that version of this film. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, me
but I
too.
still think though at the core of this, I mean, that's a funny concept, but I do think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie's not about that ultimately. I mean, it
No,
might
no, of
be his
course not.
fate, but ultimately, though,
Yeah,
I think he comes to this again. I think him living, or at least recognizing that he needs to live selflessly,
yes.
is the arc and
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
story should end.
yeah.
So I don't know, but it's a fun little idea though that he
Oh,
like
no, yeah.
is a
Because he
vampire.
tells him that. Yeah, have you read like the whole thing that he's at a Tears for Fears concert in the '80s,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really cool
and
idea.
then he just sneaks up behind him and gets
Yeah.
him, and then and I was like, "That's wrong. I want to see that." But yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Overall, though, I mean, do you think he's going to win the Best Actor award for this? I was going to look up who else is in the
Oh,
category.
I was going to say go back to who's in the category. I love him in this, and like the other people nominated, like
got Michael B. Jordan, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Wagner Moura from Secret Agent. I think you could see Michael B. Jordan maybe. And he's the strongest option there, I think. I mean,
definitely. I mean,
and it's
they finally gave Leo one. I would just say like politics. Like Leo finally got one for The Revenant, and it was deserved. I mean, he could have gotten other awards before that. So I don't think they're going to give it to him. It would be surprising if they did, but he's was great. Amazing. Yeah, he was amazing in that movie too. But he's like almost a supporting character.
Yeah, I agree.
But so I actually think, out of what you just said, I think this might be Timothy's year. Maybe. Let's see.
And I think it's deserved. I think it's his best performance. Yeah, I mean, he's good in a lot of stuff, but people don't. Why do people dislike Timothy Chalamet these days? Like, I feel like people are starting to turn on him. I know the marketing campaign for this was like in him being intentionally obnoxious, but I feel like people are like, I think I saw something. I forget who it was. They're talking about how bad he is in Dune, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's fine. Like, I mean, he's not extraordinary, but he's totally serviceable and fine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just don't like his face. I mean, have you seen Call Me by Your Name? There's like he's got like 10 roles that are really solid in his whatever.
Yeah, I'm running them down in my head, and I'm saying out of all of them, I think this is his best performance.
I would agree, but I feel like in the past like 2 or 3 years, people are tired of hearing about him for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. I'm on board. I'm on team Chalamet.
Oh, I can't hear.
I think you cut out there, but you're back. Sorry, I'm back. Carlos has some technical difficulties here, but we get through it. The audio has been mostly solid, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I guess we can get to 28 Years Later, which we talked about in pretty great detail last week because we talked about both of them. But now you've seen Bone Temple, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
It's okay. So you already know that I love 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went into it not expecting much, and it was really good. But unfortunately, I wish that he directed this one because I actually like this one a lot better. It's more in the horror film vein, whereas the first one wasn't. And like you said, I know you said there was some brutal scenes, and there was, with the Jimmys coming across that pregnant girl's family. But I really like it. I mean, Ray Fiennes shines in this one.
He's great.
More than he did in the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Spike kind of took a back seat to this one, but he was also really good. I loved it, and yeah, like you said, it was funny because it was like I wrote in my review on Facebook after watching it. The zombies, the rage virus infected play a lot in 28 Years Later, whereas in this one, the real monsters are focused on, and it's the humans. And I think the Jimmys are like worse because the rage infected don't. Well, we find out later that they do see, what they see. But I mean, we're doing spoilers. I mean,
at this point, we're doing spoilers.
Yeah,
I mean,
we now know that the reason why they're so savage and brutal is because they see like these demons or monsters themselves. They see everyone that they're attacking as monsters.
Just schizophrenic, basically.
And we find out, and I thought that was genius. And we find out that no one ever thought to think that this was all about. It was more of a mental thing than anything else. And I love.
I think that's a really interesting angle. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I was like, and then I mean, the big reveal at the end where now we know that this is a bigger franchise, and every year they can produce another one, and I'd be happy. I really dug it.
I don't know about that, but I'm down to see. I think we're getting a trilogy.
What are you talking about? There is another film.
One of these every year. I mean, come on. What franchise?
But I'm saying, okay, but one more though, at least, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm on board for one more. I think if you can, because I think if you have, I think this would make a solid trilogy for sure. I'm 100% on board with that, and tying it all back into Cillian Murphy's character and everything. Yes. I think that's the inevitable arc for this whole franchise. But I think then you're done. I think then if you're going to bring it back, you got to reboot it, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just thought it was really. I mean, I like the whole the whole ending where the Jimmys meets Nick,
Yeah,
and he
that's fun.
performs. And that it's like Dr. Kelson has all this like, and it's funny because with the whole the Duran Duran soundtrack was amazing, and his love for the '80s, I thought that was rocking, and it built up to this giant performance with Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh my god, this is such an amazing sequence, and it's just such a great film in itself. It's like,
Mhm.
and it's like it's got enough for the horror fans, it's got
Sure.
enough for the people who dug 28 years later with the
Mhm.
drama, and it was just, and then that whole the whole now we know a cure, and I'm hoping that Samson remembered everything he said, because that's what Rhonda says. Oh, but there's never going to be a cure because Samson was infected at the time. And I said, yeah, but he remembered a lot, so I think he
Mhm.
remembers. Hopefully, he remembers the sequence of drugs or whatever, and that's what they focus on in the last film. But I really loved it. I thought it was really great.
No, me too. I mean, I think I said it was. I think it's the best of the franchise, and
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
it has a really good balance of just brutality, but also heart. I
Yes,
mean, like I think the
yeah,
relationship between Ray Fiennes and Samson is
yeah,
genuinely touching at times, even though it's
yes.
hilarious every time they cut to just the shot of the dong. I think it's so funny, man. Just that's just my favorite bit in this whole
I
franchise.
know. I dig it. I dig it. And then Ray Fine shows his dong, which I thought was cute. I was like, oh my god, they're comparing. They're comparing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was the drama. The human aspect was their relationship, and Spike and Kelly, Jane, what was
Yeah,
her
she's
name?
good too.
Janique. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's really good. Yeah, I forget her name, but she's really good. And she's been in other things. She was like in Brave New, no, not Brave New World. She was in Captain America, the Winter Soldier series. She was also in Star Wars, the Hoth one.
Mm.
But she's, yeah, this is like, even though she's in the movie for like maybe 30 minutes in total, but she's really good at it. I really like her, and yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is the best film of the franchise, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Which I also
Yeah.
that'll segue us into Send Help, which I also had a lot of fun with.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
did see this,
yeah.
right?
I loved it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Oh yeah, and it's, I think it segues into the main film that we're going to talk about, because I haven't seen a dark comedy so fun and well written and
Mm.
acted in a while, and I just think
Maybe
that it's cool.
Companion would be the only other that I think is like
Yeah,
very also well written and kind of in the same
well
vein.
written. Yeah, but I loved Send Help. I mean, Rachel McAdams. Oh my God, it's like
I guess
such
we
such.
should probably do a
Yeah,
synopsis.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess we're
I'm sorry.
talking
I'm sorry.
spoilers here, but
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's just Rachel McAdams plays a I forget the character's name. I should know that, but
Linda
oh yeah,
Little.
Linda. Yeah, and Linda, what a dumb name. It's a goofy
I know,
name, but
that's what I'm
she's also kind of a
saying.
goofy person, though. She's like
Person, yeah, yeah.
somebody who has a pet parrot and
Pirate,
definitely
yeah.
doesn't fit in with coworkers and is a little quirky, but
Coworkers, yeah, very
also
awkward, yeah,
hardworking. So like you
yeah,
admire her work ethic and her just desire to help the company, even though they
company, yeah,
probably don't deserve that help.
yes,
And clearly works for like a company that's ran by the boys. There's definitely like
yes,
a boys club situation going. I do love
yeah,
the bit about golf that's ran throughout this. It reminds me of. Have you seen the Chair Company yet?
yes.
It reminds me of the football bit in Chair Company where they're like, "We need more football." It's like, "Oh,
Football.
he golfs, right? Like he golfs. He's good. He's a cool guy. He golfs." That's just a fun bit. But yeah, anyway, I love I mean, the setup is like it's certainly on the nose, but but I
Yeah.
think it's hard not to root for this character because I mean,
Oh yeah.
ultimately
Oh, no.
she's she's like the person that's working hard, and she's certainly
Yes.
awkward, and the scene with the tuna fish is so fucking
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
It reminds me of something out of The Substance. Like it's
Right? Yeah.
that
It's
really
very
elevated
gross.
satire. And like when
And then
there's
when
that one shot where it cuts to his eye, like and he's
yeah,
like twitching, looking at it. Oh, it's so funny. And then he's like sniff my hand. It's like
it's
such
my
a
hand.
like,
Oh,
oh,
I
we're in
hated
for
that.
something. Like, because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I've seen this movie a million times. I mean, at least this setup. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not a
No.
million times, but
No.
you've seen the corporate structure where you have the guy
Yes.
boss. You've seen this type of film before, but I do think the elevation of the material
Yes.
just adds an edge to it. Like just dialing it up the way that The Substance does. I don't think it's quite as good as that film.
Oh no. Yeah.
Um,
No.
but still, like it definitely makes everything hit harder.
Yeah.
You know, even just like the sequence in the when the plane crashes is just,
Oh
I
yes.
mean, hilarious. Like it's also kind of gnarly. Like yeah, the guy's like, oh, fucking pussy is not gonna wear a seatbelt, and then he
No,
fucking hits the ceiling like 5 seconds later.
I know, right?
Um, and then that shot where he's like smashing his face against the window and she closes the
No,
blinds is like, I'm in, or this is
I love that one. Yes, I love
yeah.
that scene.
I mean, I think this is definitely my favorite of his since probably what's the one? What's the last horror one he did? Uh,
Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell.
To
Yeah,
Hell, yes, yes.
I think I mean I think I like that. I think I like this more. Honestly, I think
Oh
this
yeah,
is
no,
tighter.
yeah, it is.
Drag Me to Hell holds up though. We watched that.
Oh no,
Marissa
yeah.
hasn't seen
I
it.
saw that last year during the Halloween. I said the holiday,
I
and
think the
yeah,
tail end of that film gets a little out there with
yes,
the
yes,
Exorcist section of it. I think doesn't quite work for me,
yeah.
but I
It
do.
doesn't work.
There's a lot of fun stuff in that, but this is
Yeah.
definitely a tighter script, and it's like
Yes.
the dialogue is written really well, and but I'm both. I mean, Rachel McAdams, and then what's his name that plays the
The yeah, what's the name of the kid from
Dylan? Something he was in Maze Runner, I think.
yeah, Dylan. Yeah, he that was his big thing.
Is it Dylan?
It's Dylan O'Brien. There you
Dylan
go.
O'Brien. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
like I
no, I
think
dug it.
this is a character that could be really one note. He plays the
Yeah,
boss, obviously, and like
yeah,
you know, I think he even in the beginning, he's certainly cruel, but also somewhat fair to some
yeah.
degree. He's certainly a little bit of a monster, and it's you
Yes.
know
Oh
it's
yeah.
indefensible. But I do think they add a little bit of redeeming quality to him that, and then completely undercut it in this shifting power dynamic between the two of them. But he's really charming and very funny, and
Yeah,
just
that scene where they tell each other their trauma was
yeah.
really good. It was well done, and that's when I think I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is not a bad guy."
Yeah.
And same thing with her. I'm
And
like,
then the
from
next
being,
scene, you're like, oh,
yeah, I
never
know,
mind.
right?
And then the next scene, you're like, oh, never, maybe she isn't
Exactly.
either. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's the
right.
part of the fun with this film. It's just this roller coaster, you know, of power struggle, and it just keeps you guessing, and it has a lot of
Yes.
fun with that. Though it's not taking itself that seriously. I think
Yeah,
that
because
scene
the
you talked
ending.
about is probably the only, you know, the
Yeah,
closest it gets to that.
because the ending got kind of campy in a way, but
Mm.
it's still in good fun. But did you see the little Easter egg of who his father was
I don't think so.
in the background? Uh, Bruce Campbell, who's always in
Oh, is
every
it really?
every show.
I
That's
was
his
hoping it
father.
would be him. That's great.
And when I saw that, I'm the only one who laughed at the thing. And Riley said,
I
what?"
must
And
have
then I
missed
told
that.
her, yeah, yeah. Well, again, it's in the scene where I think they're talking about, oh yeah, you're gonna hire her, or like the
Mm.
father said. And in the background, like he leans back, and you see the picture of his father.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
I was like,
I
that's it.
totally
It's
missed
Bruce
that.
Campbell. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, but
that's like
it's a fun movie. I think it kind of loses. I'm done with the third act explaining. Like, what's with
yeah,
the?
yeah.
Why does every movie need to go? Oh, we need to flash back and show the thing that we already know. I mean, I
No,
don't
yeah,
get it. It's not even like. I mean, this wasn't released on Netflix. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for that scene to be in this movie. I mean, I like Sam Raimi a lot. I mean, Evil Dead's one of
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
favorite franchises
Oh
ever,
yeah,
ever.
all time.
But
Yeah,
I like. I mean, he's smart enough as a producer, if nothing else, to look at that third act and go, we don't need to showcase the fact that she is the one that pushed him off the cliff. Just leave that a
yeah, yeah,
little bit ambiguous. We don't need to see that
yeah.
scene. We know that she's tying, you know, at least lying to him about
Yes,
discovering the
yeah,
mansion. Like, I just don't need, you don't need to show that. Like, we're already there. You know,
yeah.
and I do love the sequence though where she confronts or he confronts her in the house at the end with the
Yes, yes.
shotgun. Like that's just a fun sequence because you're
That
like, oh,
was.
she's gonna
It
blow
was.
his head off at any
It
point.
off.
Like, so I liked all. There's so much that I like about it that some of the issues don't really matter that much. But I'm done with
Yeah.
that sequence of like we need to narrate the explanation of all the details of the plot. It's like let's just it's 2026. Let's get on with our
It's
lives with that shit.
maybe it's the studios that say, "Oh, people are dumb. You got to show them to see that
But
she's."
come
You know,
on, like
I know. I agree with you, but
anyway.
I mean,
His,
yeah.
Because then people are like, but is she the one that killed the wife? Do you think that she did that?
Some people say that,
Like,
Jake.
and the reality is, like, once she reveals that she knew about the mansion, like
Yeah.
that this is all part of, like, it's like we know that all the other stuff was just part. Like, it's like just leave. Like, I don't know. Anyway, my only, it's a big problem, and I think it definitely kind of like I was so strong on it for like 75% of it, and then that happens, and you're just like, it leaves you with a little bit of a bad taste. But it's
Yeah.
well made, and there's a lot of really funny gags in it, like.
Tags.
Dylan
Yes.
Dylan
Yes.
O'Brien's like little laugh that he does, the little like like all the
Yeah. Right.
noises he makes are great throughout it. The vomit
Yeah. When
scene
he.
is really
Oh,
funny.
yeah. I was gonna say when she's struggling, but I like that where he's like storming off to make his own little camp and making
Yeah,
those noises like
yeah. He's just a baby. It's great.
yeah,
Yeah,
right, yeah,
it's good fun. And
yeah,
definitely a nice little surprise in February because I feel like I don't
yeah,
know.
right,
There's the only other thing that I thought was funny is there when in choosing the way she dresses, they're like, let's just give her Tim Robinson look. Like it's all brown. Like it's like just the ugliest outfits. It's
right,
like
ugly shit.
I just thought that was a funny detail. It's like it's my exact style, you know. Anyway, yeah, it's fun. I had a good time with it. I don't know if it's like you could probably wait for streaming on it, but if you're
Oh
eager to
yeah,
go
yeah,
see
no, yeah,
something in February, I think it's worth seeing.
yeah, yeah.
I went and saw it with Cody and we had a good time. I laughed 30 times. So, it's just like, it's worth a watch. But anyway, so
Yeah,
I guess we're running a little long this week, as we
yeah, yeah.
often do.
Often do,
But let's get
but it
into no other
segues
choice.
into no other choice because it's a. I mean, again, premise. A man, he's hardworking in his job. They lay him off, and a 3 month timeline of getting another job leads into a year and a half, and he comes up with it. Well, I forget who gives him the idea. Oh, his wife gives him the idea that
Mhm.
it's like getting rid of the other applicants, or
Yeah, and she made it's a one-off joke too. I think it's a
yeah,
gag.
yeah,
She says, I forget
again
how. Yeah, I forget the line, but they're like watching something on the iPad or something
on
and
the
on the
yeah, yeah,
couch, and
yeah,
she says something to him like, "Oh, if only they could disappear" or something, and
yeah, yeah.
like that. That's when the light bulb goes off, and like you do, in unemployed situations, you got to
Unemployed
go and murder
situation.
all the competition. Um,
And I love that sequence. Like after that, how he just comes with this brainstorm, gets all these applicants, and then realizes that these are the ones that
yeah, it's
And
smart. It's like a
I was like,
clever.
holy shit, yeah! I thought it was
Yeah,
amazing, and it's like, and like I said, the whole aspect that, I mean, the film is serious in tone, but it has these dark, funny sequences, and like the whole scene where with the number one applicant, and he's going home and he's trying to stop him from walking in on his wife,
yeah,
and he's calling
yeah.
him. Finally, calls him back.
It's almost slapstick. It's like a
Yeah, yeah,
comedic. It's something Steve Martin would do.
yeah,
It's like
right.
goofy. Yeah. But then it's also operatic and
Yes,
like
yes.
it's this really interesting blend of 14 different tones.
Yes,
And
yes,
it has a lot to say as well.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I think, I mean, where do we even start with this? I mean, this was on my list, and I forget where I put it
yes.
on the list, but I mean, this is definitely top five material for
Five.
me.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
was.
think
I think it was
it's,
in your top five.
it got snubbed at the Oscars, which is now
Yes.
being used in the Neon's marketing campaign for the
Yeah,
film.
it re-released this weekend or this weekend coming up, right? They
I'm
re-released it.
not
They have a
sure.
yeah, because I saw after I saw it, on Plex. Then I was like, when I was going to see the Super Bowl, it said a limited release for February. I think it said this weekend. Like,
Mm.
and I'm like, for Valentine's weekend they're gonna release it, but okay.
They're running it as like a for your consideration campaign, which is
Yes,
hilarious.
yes, correct.
I love. I mean, that's awesome for me. I mean, I do think it's the biggest. We talked about that last week, but I think it's the biggest snub. I think it's remarkable that it's not in that best foreign category at the
Oh yeah, I
Grammys.
know.
But I think it could easily be in the best picture category. I mean, the scope of this film and just
Yeah.
the execution of it and the visual. I mean, this is on par with everything that's in the nominated, in the best
Oh
picture
yeah,
category.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I also think it's a really timely depiction of, corporations' lack of loyalty to employees
Loyalty,
and
yeah.
the consequences of, integrating AI into every workflow, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
which the big reveal at the end. Yeah.
it's an interesting exploration of AI killing industry as well, and like the
Yes.
specializations, which I think is certainly paralleling Park Chan-wook's fear of cinema, the future of
Yeah.
cinema. But I also think it's comparing it to this paper industry. But there's that
Yeah.
line with the first murder. The guy says something along the lines of like, "I'm a specialist," to his wife. I forget what he
Yeah.
says, but he's like, it's like I can't do anything else. My back hurts. Like I've
Hurts.
been doing
Yeah.
this for my whole life. It's been so good to me. I can't just abandon it at this point. It's like there's something really valid about that, and ultimately,
And
all the employees are replaced by AI, and
AI in
I
the
think
end.
that's
Yeah.
relevant to every industry in 2026. So
But and what I it's kind of poetic because you talk about like Korean, Japanese, like when you go back to like most of the Asian arts, it's like the paper, the whole thing of paper, how
mhm,
they make
the
it so
craft of
poetic.
it,
And then he
yeah,
mentions the craft, and they're like touching, like he says to him, like that feel of touching that paper once
sure,
it's been created. And I thought that was like it makes this so like when you see operatic, because it's like this huge thing to these guys, because it's
hmm
not only our lead actor, but it's also the
yes,
applicants who their love for this thing. And it's like I'm like, holy cow, it's like interesting, it's like you think like that sequence where the wife of the number one applicant
hmm
is telling him things that he can do, and
yep,
then when he comes to murder him, and he says, "Oh well,
I love
you
that
should have done
sequence.
this, you should have done that," and then
Yeah.
the wife like stops from hurting him, like, "Yeah, yeah."
Oh,
And
it's
I
such
thought
a
that was
great
so
scene.
interesting.
It's one of my,
It's like,
but
yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
an
I mean,
amazing
and
scene.
that's a whole note I have here is talking about the parallel that all the victims have to his own desires,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I think he sees a lot
exactly.
in every one of them, and by the end even
Yes,
is like almost trying to convince, or he's really trying to convince the guy to give him a job so he doesn't have to carry out this act. But
have to kill him. Yes,
in every
exactly.
murder, he's still sympathetic to the fact that they all have the same desire and passion and
Yes,
love for that art form, right? I mean, I think, but inevitably, he's got to kill him, But
gotta
but
kill
I
him. Oh
do
yeah,
going back to what you're talking about though with the wife, with where they're having the confrontation and
yeah.
he's repeating all these things that she said to him, but he's really telling him
That's
to
it.
himself to some degree. He's not
Yes,
listening to himself,
yes.
but the words coming out
Self.
of his
Yes,
mouth are the solutions to all of his problems to some degree. Like because his wife also repeats the same thing. It's like it's not
yeah.
about being unemployed. It's all about how you handle it. Like
Handle
like
it.
we'll
Yeah,
support you. You don't have to do this alone. Like he's just
yeah,
taking all of it on himself, and that's ultimately the fatal flaw of the character, I think.
yeah, yeah.
But also there's the satirical edge to it is that it's somewhat justified in terms of
Yes,
trying to
yes.
survive in a world where AI is taking 99% of the jobs, and in certain
Yeah,
industries, obviously.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to chew on there, but I love that first murder sequence so much. It's like
Yes.
when he cranks up the volume on the music, and
Volume.
it's
Yeah.
like he like whips off the different gloves. He's got like a trash bag on his arm. I mean, just to
It's the
reveal.
reveal.
That's so
Reveal. That was
that's
amazing.
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, but just them yelling over the music to one
Music.
another
Yes.
and not hearing a single word is just
Word.
it's just great. And then the scuffle for the gun and it's a great music choice too. That
Yes.
scene for me is like the peak. I mean, it's the peak of 2025 for me. I mean, I think that's just like it's such a bizarre tone for like this
So yeah.
really serious. He's
Chris
trying to like murder the guy, and
murder the guy.
it ends up
And
being
then
like
but the wife in the background, like she stops and then she's like agreeing, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
and I thought it's just so funny but so dark and just amazingly it's just the whole sequence is just so amazing. Whereas
And the consequences of it, I think,
yes,
really
yeah,
impressive too. Like when she
yes,
fires the gun and he like turns around and we realize that she shot him.
in him, yeah.
I don't know. It's I think that's a big moment, and I think it drives because ultimately it's kind of the point of no return for the film.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. But
Even
it's
though
like
he's
when you
not the one that actually carried the act out, he's still
yeah.
responsible for it, as we
Yes.
know. Um,
And it's funny because the second murder is just like boom, and
mhm.
it's serious. He shoots him, whatever, he puts him away. And I thought that was
But there is
interesting.
the
The
reveal though
parallel.
that he has a daughter, and there's like there's that
Yes.
setup.
Yeah.
There's sympathy there and appreciation for just him being a human being. But again,
But
the
that
fatal flaw of the
sequence is
character.
more serious in tone. Yeah,
Yes,
it's not played for laughs like the first one.
yes, yeah, for
This one
sure.
is just so like boom, 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 and
It's
it's
more
like it's
calculated too. Like I
calculated.
think,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's learning as he's doing, carrying these things out. He's becoming more of a
exactly. Yeah,
killer. Yeah, I think
yeah,
the progression of his actions and even in his preparation is really interesting to kind of see how that progresses throughout the film.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think let me see what else I got here. You also have like just his growing. I mean, that I think that also ties into just the confidence that he starts to have as the film goes on. I mean, you see him in the beginning, and he like can't communicate what he's trying to say, so he writes it on his
yeah.
hand, and we see that in the job interviews. And I do love that sequence where he's interviewing for the job, and there's a reflection off
Of
the building.
the building. I hate
Yeah,
that scene. He's like,
yeah.
it drove me crazy because I'm like trying to do the same thing. Like, get out of.
Yeah, I mean, I just, in his relationship with his daughters, I think is really great. He's confident in his relationship with his wife, and at least at first, and then
First, yeah,
obviously, I think it's a unique arc for him because he's happy at the beginning of the film, obviously, and I think there's a line where he's like, "I have everything," and
yeah, yeah,
but she also tells him at the beginning, it's like, you shouldn't give. They say you shouldn't give your lover a pair of shoes because
yeah.
they'll leave you, and then
And she'll run
there's
away.
this arc where he's very insecure about his
Yeah.
relationship with his wife, but then there's a transition where he becomes more confident in his killing
Confident. Yeah.
and in his pursuit of this goal, and it inevitably has like tunnel vision in his
Yes.
pursuit of it. And I think inevitably it's kind of his downfall. Which I did want to talk more about the ending though.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like, do you think this is a happy ending or not? I think it is for the
Not
character,
for him,
but
but not for everyone. Like everyone changes and not for the better. Like
sure,
he's,
including
I
him.
mean,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like I mean, he's happy, he's secure that he snagged this gig where he's the only employee
I
now
know. Yeah,
controlling
that sequence
everything.
is great too. I mean,
Which
really.
it's a parallel to the beginning because the beginning he's fighting for everybody. You can't fight,
Yep.
and then at the end
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
selfless. He's like, yeah, I
it's
don't.
all
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
100%. I wrote
and
that down. Yeah.
yeah, and then the wife, though, unfortunately, she changes because she accepts what he did, and you actually
Does she
feel
though?
because
I guess that's another talking
okay,
conversation
yeah,
point. I think. Like, I mean, I don't know for sure, to be honest. I've seen this three
no,
times, I think, and
you could see there's a regret, but then when the daughter plays her masterpiece or her piece, whatever you want to call it, she just then like sits on the floor and is like in awe of her daughter, but also I think it's like that moment of acceptance for her. I feel.
it's like this is what that sacrifice was for, right? Ultimately,
Yes, yes,
is to provide for the daughter and allow her to be successful in her career.
successful.
I think that's a really great
Yeah,
moment in the film. I think that's where this is the kind of operatic stuff that, like, I think the
yes,
film executes
yes,
with such precision. I don't know. I mean, I think that because that was on my list as well. Like, do you
yeah,
think that? Because the other detail though I thought was interesting though is like the dogs coming back were like her audience. Like that was like what she needed
yeah.
to be able to
I
play.
loved it. I love
Um,
that. Yeah, they're just
and
sitting
and
there with the
inevitably that's provided by the parents, but to some degree it's like
yeah
she just wanted the dogs there to play
dog back.
for.
Yeah,
Um,
and the son that unfortunately you see there might be bad, like because he ends up going with the kid that got him in trouble and almost
smoking
got him in jail,
cigarettes, I think
smoking
too. There's just
cigarettes again and
yeah,
sneaking off, and then they did that fist bump as they're going to do whatever they're doing now. And I thought that was unfortunate because the son ended up like having that moment with the dad, but then I'm saying maybe because he thought he saw what he saw and the mother talked him out of it,
hmm
but I'm thinking that maybe deep down inside he did know what he saw,
sure.
and now he's going off to do bad things, and because his father got away with it, he could get away with it, because he
Sure. No, I think
got
that's
away
all
with it
there.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's at least
yeah,
my interpretation of that character.
yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
So
and going back to like whether or not this is a happy ending, I mean, I do agree. I think it's like it appears to be for him, but at what cost? And then I
at what
also
cost?
think
Yeah.
if we look at the third murder, the one that he did in the cabin or
Oh
whatever,
yeah, with the big
the rich
balls.
guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think there's this, you see that like, his whole pursuit is for this guy's job, right?
Mm.
Ultimately. And
Yeah.
he's not even happy. He's
Yeah.
overworked. He's
Yeah.
alone, right? Because
Alone. Yeah.
his pursuit of this cabin or this house is like his
Barbecues every
wife leaves
day.
him. Yeah, he's miserable. And I think
Yeah.
that's inevitably I believe that it's foreshadowing Mansu's inevitable ending. It's like
Yes.
he
Yes.
feels he's accomplished this task, but in the end,
At what
it's not even
cost?
something
Yeah.
that's going to bring him actual happiness, and it's just going
Happiness.
to
Yeah.
cost him everything. I mean,
Yes.
maybe he doesn't end up alone, but ultimately, it's just like it's in pursuit of a job, which is a, uh, you know,
Yeah. And
and
yeah, that's what I said. I said if it ate away at this dude,
mm,
who seemed like he had everything, Mansu, like you said, might have a wife and a daughter and a son, but at what cost? Because we already know that the son might be going bad, and yes, the wife was happy or accepting at the end, but later on, Mansu might be complaining that like the other guy, this is a
sure.
pain in the ass
Well, and
and all
even
this
she,
shit.
I mean,
Yeah,
like she did kind of accept it, but then, like, when he's going off to work, she's not like she doesn't tell him good day. There's clearly
yeah,
it's raining outside. It's just
it's
like
all
this
different.
it's
Yeah,
just a tragedy to some degree. And whether or
yeah,
not they end up all, breaking up or like the family falls apart, you never know that.
yeah.
Obviously, that's not where the story ends.
Ends. Yeah,
I think inevitably we cut to shots, the credits, I think, or at least prior to the credits, it's shots of like them cutting trees down, which
trees
is
down.
to
Yeah,
make the paper, but it's
paper. Yeah,
also I think a parallel to just AI destroying our
destroying
world,
everything. Yes.
in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
environment. And I think that's inevitably what the film I think is about, at least, is
yeah.
just kind of this. To some degree, it's the same ending as Eddington. I mean, it's
Interesting. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's at least communicating the same problem or
Problem. Yeah,
concern or warning. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to chew on there.
yeah,
And I just it's also just really entertaining. I mean, I think it's just
yeah, yeah.
funny and weird and exciting and visually spectacular at times.
Oh yeah.
And just it's just unlike anything I saw last year. So
Yeah.
for me, I just the one other I did want to talk about the title as well. That was one thing I wanted to mention, like the idea of no other choice as well, which I think
Yes.
is
Yeah.
obviously the title of the film, so it's important. But I do think it's important for it's repeated by characters throughout the film, including
Yes.
the like
Yeah.
American CEO at the beginning of the film talking about the layoffs. It's
Yeah.
like we
We
have no
have
other
no other
choice,
choice. Yeah.
and then he repeats that to his wife. We don't have any other
Right.
choice.
Choice.
I don't have any other choice but to murder all these people. And it's like, but I mean, ultimately, I think the film it's satirical in its
Yeah.
criticism of his motivations for all these things. Because ultimately, like these American CEOs probably had the choice to not lay off,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
90%
Yeah.
of the workforce and utilize this technology that's going to just inevitably make them more money, but replace,
Yeah.
the livelihoods of their entire staff. And obviously their business, that's a whole broader argument, but I do think there's the idea of choice is an interesting,
Yes.
especially when you
Yes.
talk about the broader context of AI and just technology and just unfettered capitalism. And
Capitalism. Yeah.
it's like this idea that we have to be profitable. It's like, you don't have to be infinitely profitable forever,
I mean,
but
they don't, but they do.
they
You
do,
know what I
and they
mean?
will, and there's
The
nothing we can
choice
do
that they
about it.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the idea of like,
Yeah.
there is no other option is, I think, at the core of the film's message about, whether it's emerging technologies or our pursuit of, profit, at least in American culture. I mean, it's everywhere though, but
Yeah.
I think all that's kind of thread throughout this, and it's got a lot to say, and it does it in a really interesting way. The other thing I thought that was really funny, this is a random detail, but the apparently Korean families have, I don't know what it's called. It's a doll rim, I believe is what it's called, for their names. So like the children are Siwon
And
and
me too.
Riwon.
Rewind and re.
And so the dogs they ended up naming C2 and Ritu, which is just like because it's actually spelled WON, like C1 and
Yeah.
Riwon. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's pronounced correctly, but so it's like a play on words of
Yes.
thing one and thing two, and
Dude, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I just think it was a funny detail. But yeah, I just I mean, I don't know, man. I love the way it presents. just all the stuff with the daughter, like her on the swing, and like
Yeah.
the way that the way that his journey kind of ties in with her kind of background narrative, and inevitably the resolution at the end there. I think it's brilliantly executed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like of his films, where would you put this? I mean, it's no Old Boy, but that's not saying
Yeah.
much.
But they're, well, no, I was
They're
gonna say
so
they're two
different. It's hard to
different
compare.
movies,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I do love this movie. I mean, out of most of his films, like, I mean, Old Boy, of course, I love it, but that's the old me who's still into that whole, action gangster,
sure.
Tarantino
That
esque.
thing holds up so well though with that
But
4K
yeah, even
re-release.
to this
Man,
day,
it's
oh
I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
that ending sequence where he shoots himself in the elevator, like that,
yes,
and that whole finale is still just that's operatic. If we're talking
yes,
about that, I mean it's
yeah,
spectacular stuff. But a very different film, obviously, and very different
yeah,
time
yeah.
period, and But
But
yeah, I was just
I would,
curious.
yeah. I mean, I would say I love this movie out of a lot of the movies he's done in the past 10 years more. Um, I mean, Parasite was the other one, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was in
Bong Joon-ho.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh no. Okay, so it wasn't Parasite. Okay, but yeah,
He
I
did
think
The
this
Handmaiden and Decision to
Handmaiden. Yeah,
Leave. I love Handmaiden. I don't love it as much as this though. I think this
this one.
is more
Yeah,
accessible for sure. For sure
yeah,
more
yeah,
accessible. But I do like Handmaiden a lot. But Decision to Leave is the only one that kind of left me cold, but I feel like I
yeah,
need to revisit it. It's stunning to look at. It's so well performed too, but I just couldn't connect with that one as much. This I feel like has more universal themes and
yeah.
is still entertaining and just
Oh
really
yeah,
spectacularly well made.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Old Boy is still number one for me, but this might be my second favorite of his. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
That's interesting that you say that. I like I said, I think I like this movie more than Old Boy because of the style.
that's fair.
But
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, every time I think of Old Boy, I think of like my love for the Tarantino cinema. The
sure.
nonstop action, John Woo, The Killer, Hard
Yeah.
Boiled. But yeah, like now as I'm older, I think I'd appreciate No Other Choice more. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I don't know that there's a lot of flaws to it, so it's hard to
Oh
argue.
yeah,
I
no,
mean, I
yeah,
think Old
agreed.
Boy is a flawed film, although I love it.
Yes,
I think that's
yes,
probably a more. I think this is more precise in its execution. But yeah, I mean, just. I mean, considering we're even making that comparison, I mean, I think it's
yeah, I know,
definitely a
right?
great film that I think more people should see because I still can't believe it wasn't nominated. But also, the
Yeah,
Oscars are stupid, so who cares?
yeah, we agreed to that last week, but yeah, yeah, I actually am upset that this wasn't best foreign film. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But
I mean, I don't know that I like if I had to pick like the winner in that category, I don't know if it would be that. I think it easily could be. I'd
yeah,
have to look. I think sentimental value though is up there for it's very different, obviously. I know it's not
yeah,
nearly as
yeah,
entertaining, but I think that's also a great film. But we talked about that in
yeah,
detail
yeah.
last week. But yeah, I
You
mean to
said
not
you
even be
saw
nominated.
Secret Agent? Did you see Secret
I
Agent?
have it on Plex, but I haven't watched it. I
Yeah,
also haven't
I was
seen
going to look at it
uh
before the Oscars so I can see
yeah.
who I think should win. But yeah, definitely I'm gonna do that.
Surat is also finally being released in theaters. I want to see
Yeah,
that too, in
yeah,
theaters preferably, but that looks really good. But I
yeah.
just think I was just not as big on Jafar Panahi's. This was just an accident. I think that's the
Accident.
one that
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
be
You were
there.
saying that. Yeah.
But anyway, No Other Choice is great. What are your
Yes.
picks for the week? What your recommendation for the week for everyone, not just for me, just to
Yes, I know. I know. I learned. I learned. Um, I watched They Live the other day, and I
Oh,
know
nice.
my picks are always sci-fi or horror, but They Live is such a great film. It's so underrated. I mean, I know The Thing is his masterpiece,
Hmm.
but They Live is campy,
Hmm.
but there's also a message in it, and I just love the political overtones. Back
Hmm.
then, in 1988, with the Democrats and the Republicans, fighting over the White House.
Was that
But
prior
yeah,
or was that prior or after Repo Man? Because I always thought, and they're different movies, but
after.
I just was curious.
No, no,
Okay,
yeah, after Repo Man.
gotcha.
After
Because that
Repo
was
Man
that
was
late
like
'70s. Okay,
83.
'80. Okay,
Yeah, Repo Man was 83, and They Live is 88. So yeah,
because they
but
both
there's
feel
a
like they're
there's
fueled by anarchy in a way that I really enjoy.
Anarchy. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
you got a
What's
good pick.
yours?
Mine's Old Boy. I just think that's a perfect tie. If you haven't seen Old Boy, I know it's. I mean, we're
Yes.
talking about No Other Choice. I mean, I think if you
Yeah.
haven't
No.
seen
No.
Old
Yeah.
Boy,
Old Boy is
um,
such an amazing film.
I
Yeah.
think
No
that new
doubt.
4K remaster is just like it look. Other than there's a shot on the bus or on the subway with the ant. I think other than that, that shot looks terrible still. but it didn't look good in
yeah.
19 or whenever that came
Yeah,
out, 1990. When did
yeah.
Oldboy even come out? 2000?
No, yeah, it was in the aughts. Let me see, just to get it up because I want
Wasn't
to
I think it
recommend
was
Old Boy too.
2000, wasn't it? Or anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the
Old Boy.
other than that shot with the ant, I think the movie looks the transfer and the remaster is spectacular. And on the big screen, that movie hit so hard. Yeah, Old Boy's awesome. And
2003, 2003.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that it just
23 years.
Old Boy has so many great moments, and
Yeah,
I think it loses its way a little plot wise in like the third act
third act.
when they go to the school and stuff. Some of that's just a
Yeah,
little ridiculous. But I do think the last 30 minutes of it is like just
yeah.
it's outstanding stuff, and I think
And that fight sequence to this day, so many people have stolen that sequence,
yeah,
bro. That
yeah,
fight
yeah.
sequence with going down that hallway and fighting all these dudes.
It's awesome.
It's
I
like
mean, it's like
everybody.
the
Yeah,
raid. Yeah, I mean, it's like it was
yeah.
like
Oh
it did the
yes,
raid
yes.
before the raid did, and it
The
still
raid
holds
did,
up
yeah.
to this day. And then you also
Oh
have
yeah.
just, I mean, the style of it is insane too. It's just such a bizarre
Yes.
film, tonally, and the concepts, and then the performance. The lead performance is, I mean, he's
Oh
just
yeah.
great in it. So, I mean, Old Boy is just a classic film, and I think we finally have like a really good quality transfer of it. I just was so happy with the results from that. So, Old Boy is my pick of the week. So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's a great pick. Great pick.
Well, that concludes episode 48 of
48.
Indecisive Cinema. We forgot to say our names, I think, again. So,
And I'm Carlos Hernandez,
and I'm Jeremy Knight.
and we will see you on the next one. You guys take care.